Alright, let's start with some review on what we've done so far. So, you just start by writing out basic chord, A5 chord that you've done many times. So that's your whole note, that last 4 beats or 4 quarter notes. We've done half note, that gets 2 beats. So 2 of those can be used to fill up the bar. And then we've gone to, there's some other variations, but I'm just going to go like the really basic stuff here. So we also got the quarter notes, which is 1 beat. And well, 1 quarter note is 1 beat long, and you got 4 that fill up the bar. And then what we're doing now, so that's 1/8 note by itself. That's 2/8 notes together. And so you have 8/8 notes to fill up the bar. So you can basically think of this, or look at this, like that whole grid idea, like I mentioned. So this whole note lasts the same length as all of these 1/8 notes. Quarter notes here, so 2/8 notes is 1 quarter note long. So within this quarter note, you have 2/8 notes long, like the length of 2/8 notes. So I know, the dreaded M word, as you put it. Yes, math. It's a lot of math. Music has lots of math. It's your sound waves in combination with mathematics, because it's about dividing things up into certain time lengths. Lots of time lengths being divided up all kinds of different ways. So again, the whole note has all 8 of these 1/8 notes in it. And I'm talking about, like, like think of it like $1, a dollar bill's got 4 quarters. So think like the whole note's like $1. Your half notes are like 2 half dollars. You got your 50-cent pieces. And then here you got your 4 quarters, which equals $1, right? Now I don't know of any money that works here with the 1/8 notes, but now you're taking the quarter and dividing it up into 2 parts. So whole note, 4 quarter notes, 4 quarter notes long, and then half note, well, that's half of the whole note, so that's 2 quarter notes long. And then 1 quarter note obviously is 1 quarter note long, and then the 1/8 note is half the length of a quarter note. So if I highlight all this, that's the equivalent in terms of length as the half note, because that's 2 quarter notes long right there. And then if I highlight this, well, that's 1 quarter note, 1 quarter note long. So 2/8 notes, it's the same length of time as 1 quarter note. So talked about with the tide marks and whatnot. So if I make this tie, you see that's still like falling in line with everything in terms of like how stuff is spaced out. It's just now this is telling you, well, you're not strumming on the downbeat of 2. Let's go back 1 sec. So yeah, that's, when you're counting these quarter notes, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So looking at the downbeats, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So all the stuff in between there, that's your and for the upbeat. You say and for the upbeat. That's the upbeat there, upbeat there. So if we were looking at this, it's always, it's going to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and here. But if I do that, and I tie this to this, well, now this lasts that duration there. Now, it's supposed to make us easier to see that that's still the downbeat of 2, but we're just not strumming on it. And show you the other way. Mathematically that's the same, but it doesn't look as nice, so it's harder to read. So that's why we're doing it the way we're doing it. So when you see the tie mark, it is letting you know where you're not playing, basically. Like something's carrying over. So let's do the same thing like here. Okay, so now the downbeat of 4 is not being played, and the downbeat of 2 is not being played. So looking at all the eighth notes up here, you're only going to say the part of the count that you're playing on. So the 1 and 3 and. So let's go back a little bit. And this is actually going to be one of the rhythms you are doing. Well, let's say I want this or I want this chord to last the whole quarter note. Could I do this? Yeah. But there's no need for that, because we just make it the quarter note, and that tells us that it lasts that full quarter note. So suppose you could argue like, well, if you list all those eighth notes out and then always tie to the eighth notes that you're not playing on, so you could always see that grid, it's like it can still actually be really messy, because let's really take it to that level here. Oh, and even that one. So that is, you could do that, but it seems kind of silly, because now this looks messier than that. So hopefully that's clearing some stuff up. So what you could do is take something and something to write with. Let's see. What do I want to write with? So what you can do is, so you got 4 bars in the new thing. What you can do is you write, I'm going to show you what I'm writing here in a second. Basically 4 times you're going to write this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we'll do that. Okay. So now I got that written out 4 times. So let's pull up the new thing from today. So basically at this point what you can do is underline part of the beat that you're playing on. So basically you're looking at it is like, you can ask yourself like a yes or no type question, like, are you playing on the downbeat of 1? The answer is yes. So you got you're kind of like lining up like, well, what eighth notes are you playing? So you're playing the first one, you're playing the second one, which is on the upbeat of 1. See, so far I've got those first 2 underlined. Then you go to this part here, so where you don't play anything there, so you don't underline the 2. You are playing on the upbeat of 2, so you underline that. So now I got that underlined. And then quarter note there, so that means you're strumming just on the downbeat there, and it lasts the entire beat. So you just underline 3. You do not underline the and of 3, because you're not playing there. And then you also got this last quarter note, has to be the 4. So what you get is that. So I only got that first bar underlined now. So the 1 and 3, 4. So you can try that for the rest. I don't want to give too much away. So try that. And I'm going to be counting and demonstrating all that stuff too. So you can take the count that I do in the video and double check with what you got. But yeah, we'll keep doing variations of this until it starts to stick a bit better and you have that like aha moment. I mean, you clearly understand it to a point at least, because you know when you looked at this bar here today, you counted that one fine right away. I believe you counted that one fine almost right away. You had to tweak a little bit there. I think what was really throwing you off is the fact that you got these curved lines hanging out going over here, but that's just your tie mark. So the downbeat of 4 is tied to the downbeat of 1 here, so it looks a little odd. But remember, stuff that's in parentheses in your guitar tab typically means you're not playing anything. And then you can see how the tied mark is going over to the left and then coming up here. So let's demonstrate this thing now. 60 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. So in addition to this, yes, keep working on the material from last time and then demo all that stuff. So if any questions come up, please let me know, and I'll see you again in the video.